Hey everybody out there in the world of YouTube and the YTPC. I really made much of a serious video in quite some time, and the reason why is because, well, I just kind of feel like I ain't got nothing much important to really talk about. And I still really don't. I love my coffee. It's a little late though, like some real late night coffee, but I figured, I ain't got nothing to lose. It's been a rocky few months. Actually, it's been a rocky year, but I don't want to talk about that junk. But, because everybody's experiencing the trouble with that junk. But, you know, I think, world's quite different, I'll say that much. Kind of notice YouTube has changed some of their things that they got going on. And, I kind of thought for like a minute I would have been able to done a live stream, as which, be honest with you guys out there, all the friends and fans and followers out there that watch my channel and everything, it's one of the things that just kind of made me back off of YouTube because I miss the live streaming. I miss having that interaction connection with people. And it's interesting the conversations I would have with some of you out there, and I was amazed to learn that, of the people that do watch me, and watch the channel, I remember quite a few times, the great Mr. George Bruno would actually be watching a live stream of mine or something, and that really meant a lot to me because I think there's a small handful of people I really idolize, in the world of YouTube, period. And Mr. George Bruno is like at the top tier of people, you know. And, of course, everybody in the YTPC is also on that top tier, regardless, because it's truly the YTPC that kind of inspired me to make videos. So everyone that's, been around for a while, in the YTPC, you guys are one of the main reasons why I decided to do YouTube and do it and have fun at it. So for all you older guys that's been around, older folks that's been around in the YTPC, thank you for that encouragement, and everything. Because I remember before I ever even made any type of serious video on anything, I remember watching a lot of the YTPC videos, and at the end, a lot of them would be like, encourage someone that wants to make a video, that's YTPC, or just make a YouTube video in general, encourage them to, join in, And I remember a lot of that going on, and I'm sure there's probably about 40 billion plus some odd galls I'm sure I probably missed out on, and then, that's going to sound kind of sad and kind of poor on my end, but it's like Mr. John Harden, also known as Matches, and I can't remember the numbers that come afterwards, but, Matches, man. I remember the day I realized that he was no longer with us, I'm just like, man, and sad to say, it was really, well, two things that kind of hit home that realized how much I really had distanced myself from not only just YouTube, but just distanced myself from things, um, was when I realized it had like been like a week, two, since Mr. Harden had passed on, and I ran across a video that was of his daughter that made the announcement video, and like that just really like, touched my heart, and kind of made me real sad because once again, you talk about a guy that's, shocked at about who would watch their videos or comment or anything, and him being pretty much the grandfather or the godfather of the YTPC, and it was kind of shocking a few times when I seen where he would comment on some of my videos, and there's like one or two live streams I done that he actually had responded to me on, and it just shocked me, pure shock that, wow, this guy, watches me. And then, you can't also forget, the mayor of the YTPC, Mr. Derek Tant, I never thought in a million years that guy would ever watch any of my videos, but he did and responded to a few, and then there's a lot of ones out there. Remember, like one particular person that I was really close to a little bit there for a while, and I feel kind of bad that I kind of distanced myself from them too. There's quite a lot of people, and I was kind of close with, I used to talk a lot with Pipe Cat too. So once in a while, I'd be shocked whenever he would, if I was be doing a live stream or something, and come across Pipe Cat saying howdy, and then I also remember, when Mama was going through that heart surgery and stuff, and I asked people if they would do some, VRs, and I was shocked that the people actually did, But I really missed that live streaming stuff because it was like a real connection. I felt really connected, and then when YouTube really, done what they done and changed their policies like that, it really was a kick in the pants, man, a real kick in the pants. Once in a blue moon, I'll do a Facebook Live thing, but it's not the same. I seen that some people of the YTPC made a YHPC group on Facebook for whoever is the founder of that and everything. I'm glad that they done that. That's really cool. That was really cool. Just to even go to show y'all how much of a rock I kind of been living under too is I didn't even know Salmonelli actually had made the tribute pipe, limited edition tribute pipe for matches, and heck, now you can't even find those now, that would have been something to just kind of put up on the shelf, but, as what the old saying goes, you snooze, you lose, you know what I mean, but, it's like, say, I still watch folks on the YTPC, I just don't always comment anymore, or, but I always try to hit that like button if I can remember to. I've been guilty of forgetting to do that. Even also too, I know since I've kind of, quit producing a lot of videos or anything like real serious kind of, I noticed there's been a few people that's kind of, I noticed my numbers have dropped of subscribers, but it's like I also say, for those of you that have stuck around, I thank you humbly. Because not everybody's going to be happy and cheerful and chippery, and, not everybody is always going to have something to post, And I would tell you, I've been going through some changes. I mean, some changes. Of course, you all know that I, became a daddy last year. And little Miss Isla, she's been 1 year old for a while now. She made it to 1. I told Madison, I said, Madison, does this mean we're officially actually past the first time parent thing? Since we got one that made it to 1 year old, Oh, and all you experienced parents out there, or even experienced grandparents, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. I'll even accept tips. But anyways, uh, let's see what else. And also, with all the stuff going on, you know, we're kind of worried with the second one. When she goes to have the second one, you know, we was actually recently told that some of the hospitals, after a child is born, are not letting the parents hold that child for an hour after it's born because on account of the stuff. As which we're almost half tempted to see what it would be, how much costly it would be to just find a midwife, and we wouldn't really have to worry about too much of that stuff. But it is what it is. You take the hits as they come. It's like here it's like a philosophy. I've learned, since in the recent, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this later. It's like in the recent, since I've been getting back into martial arts training and everything. Um, you know, anybody can give a hit. Anybody can hit. It's those that can take the hit and still keep on going. Those are the people that are going to go somewhere, or that are tough enough to take the hit and still keep going. But a friend of ours who works in the medical field kind of recently told us that, and that just kind of it don't scare me. If anything, it aggravates me because it's like, first of all, especially two people, whether you've been married or a couple or engaged to get married, whatever the situation may be, if you're living together, you've been around each other forever. If you're a woman, you've been carrying that child for 9 months. Hopefully 9 months, or, without no complications, whether it may have been born, whether the child may be born early or not. The fact of the matter is, you've been carrying that child inside of your body. Now, how is it going to affect after that child is born for you to hold it right after it's born, instead of, and then all of a sudden hospitals are wanting to do this, quarantining you from your own child? Sounds like a load of crap to me. But either which way it goes, either which way we go down, take on that path, it's just one of those things, you just gotta take the hits as they come and just keep on going. But we're excited for the new child. We really are. And I'm just worried about the way the world is. Sometimes I have to wonder, was it kind of selfish for another child to be coming into this world, the way the world's going? But then I also look at it this way. If I'm going to say that, then I'm also questioning God. And I don't want to be the person to question God, especially on that particular subject. Because it's kind of like how God told Job, "Where were you when I laid the foundation?" There's more to that verse, but I can't remember it at this particular point in time. Once again, I mentioned I was getting back into martial arts. There is a guy that I'm learning from that way back in the day, before I was ever a thought in my mother's mind, when she was a young woman, her and this guy and quite a few others, they all started out taking martial arts together, learning from the same person, or the same few people actually, in the local area. And my mom and the teacher I'm learning from now, they started out learning together, and Seika Khan and Ishinru, and my teacher's name, his name is Marty Waters. Now, he's a good guy, a good-hearted guy. He did serve some time, but the thing of it is when you grow up in a small town, you live in a small town, and you have a reputation behind you, as being the toughest guy in town. Well, when someone falsely accuses you of something, it's kind of hard sometimes to even prove your innocence with a bad reputation sometimes. Not that he was a bad guy with a bad reputation, but, you know, I grew up hearing some local stories, and maybe one day, maybe I can talk him into sitting down with me, maybe like this, and, maybe doing a YouTube interview with him. It would be kind of interesting, not only to maybe get, a point of view or something that, out of all respect, I don't really talk to him about it. Because, I mean, I know what my mother's told me, and they've been friends for many, many years. I just feel like it'd be like crossing a barrier that I shouldn't cross, at least not at this point. But he's a good, kind guy, give you the shirt off his back. But when it comes to being in the dojo, he expects you to work hard. And when you're outside of the dojo, he expects you to work on what he's teaching, because he can any good teacher can tell if you work on your techniques at home, and when you come back into the dojo or the gym or studio, wherever it is you're learning your martial arts at, they can tell beyond a shadow of a doubt, if they are good, they can tell that you go home and you work. And then it shows and reflects on that when you're in the dojo. Something else, he told me right off the bat. He said, I'm going to tell you these things. And he said, I'm telling you these things because it's the logical right thing to do. He said, first of all, you will only get out of this martial arts training what you are willing to put into it. That there is holding you as an individual accountable. Something else he told me. He said there is no magic wand or magic words or anything else that can be said over you or waved over you that entitles you with all the martial arts knowledge you would want. He said it all goes back to how well and how quick you learn something, how well and how willing you are to work on something. And he said, and it also refers back to the first. You get out of it what you put into it. So pretty much the whole beginning pep talk and everything, and introduced me into the class, was pretty much is you're held accountable for what you put in and your time that you put into it. And knowing that when you're paying money to learn something, you are pretty much holding yourself accountable, because if you don't go to your classes, if you're not working on things that you are learning, if you don't, and I'll tell you this much too, if not having the space to do something like that, even if it's just basic movement, even if you can't really throw a punch, throw a kick, or do a certain technique, you can still at least physically go through the emotions and at least, maybe not throw the kick, but at least, do that work, the working of the motion to train your mind at least. Just like in, when people do katas and stuff, because now I've heard many things about kata. And there's like millions of videos out there about kata, the history of kata. Some people say it's useless, some people say it's not useless. I will say there's a channel out there, if you're into martial arts and kata, there's a channel out there called The Karate Nerd, or Karate by Jesse, and I cannot remember his last name or even how to pronounce it. But just look up Karate Nerd, bam, that's the guy. And he has videos upon videos, even like him going to Okinawa and places, and even I think he even went to Japan too. I could be wrong, but I think he went to Japan, and he learned nothing but karate. When he was learning the origin of karate and all these katas and everything. So check that channel out if you like want to know something about kata and the history of kata and stuff. It's real interesting. And there's other channels out there too, but I watch him a lot. But the style I'm learning is Seikokan and kickboxing, and also one of the first few things that my teacher told me. He said to me, kata has its place and everything, but he said, there's many pressure points and many grappling and many throwdowns and everything that you will learn. But he said, first, I'm going to make a boxer out of you. So I'm learning the boxing side of things, or actually the art of the martial art, which is how I kind of come to distinguish it, because there's some things that are in the kickboxing that I've learned that I remembered doing back from when I was younger, when I was studying karate and Seikokan years ago, that I remember when it came to the kicking. I remember doing just about every kick I'm doing so far is every single kick that I learned a long time ago, but I'm also getting a better understanding of why these kicks are done the way they are done, why they're being exactly thrown the way they're thrown, and why your body has to be the way it is, and everything. I'm learning these things, and and I'm sure I probably was learning it a long time ago, and I just didn't catch on to it, probably. But I'm learned a lot, and I've learned that I'm capable of doing a lot more than I imagined physically. And I think one of the awesomest things to learn, is if you stop and think, if you ain't never took any martial arts training of any sort, boxing, kickboxing, karate, you know, say you're just a guy that just likes to throw punches and everything, and you never got shown anything, but you know you're capable of throwing a punch. But anyone can throw a punch, but can you throw that punch correctly? And that's the thing I'm learning, that I was able to learn, and I've learned the concept of, and it's that there to me was like giving me a key and unlocking that door that I never knew about before. But I've also been able to distinguish from what I am learning as far as like the competitive side. I'm learning all this competitiveness side to things, but I also know that the self-defense part of it, like there's certain techniques I've learned to do when it comes to throwing punches and stuff that I know why from the competitive side why I'm doing it this way, but I also know in the back of my mind there's a difference between competitive training and self-defense training, but the two are a beautiful thing and they both belong together. And it's a wonderful experience. It's helped me, along the journey of trying to get fit. And yeah, that's things in a nutshell. I'm not even ranked up in a belt. Well, I'm just straight up learning the kickboxing side of things right now. But something interesting that I kind of learned too about kickboxing is something I didn't know, and also I kind of was doing some self researching, to gain a better knowledge of the martial art style that I'm learning, to gain a better knowledge, because I told the teacher, I said, I told teacher Walters, I said I research what I'm doing so that I can also help have a better understanding. Well, in this research of mine, I just typed in one day kickboxing on YouTube so I can maybe watch some kickboxing matches and maybe see some of the things that I am learning And so that from viewing what, someone else, fighting in an arena and everything, seeing someone doing that, that it would interpret, and to hear from when I'm training, I have a better understanding of why I am doing what I'm doing, and everything. Because right now, I like and I dislike the idea of sparring. And right now we don't spar. Of course, also I'm doing one-on-one training. Well, me and my future brother-in-law, we're doing one-on-one training. Bubba, I got him in on this too. And everything, and he don't like putting people right into sparring right away. And we kind of talked a little bit about this tonight. And when we was working out, he said that he wants to be sure that before he puts people to sparring, that they know what they're doing. Because he said you can wear all the pads in the world and you can still get hurt. He said you could actually land a punch the wrong way and somebody's going to get hurt. He said even in he said even when you're sparring and you know what you're doing, he said people can get hurt. He said I'd rather be for sure that you know what you're doing versus just putting you there and letting you knock the crap out of each other. He said I want you to know the techniques. He said I want you to know the whole curriculum here of these techniques that I'm teaching and trying to train you to learn and get down. He said, before I put you in that situation, because he said, I consider that to be a whole nother form of training. And, I understand that. I can understand taking that care of making sure that people are learning that. And that's a beautiful thing. But anyways, back to me physically watching what I saw. I came across somebody that I kind of